Jamie, it's so good to have you in the studio tonight.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Jamie, your audition from Britain's Got Talent is definitely one of the most memorable to date.
You walk out onto this tiny little space on this big stage in this big room, and you're looking at these four people smiling back at you, and you know 5 minutes, and your life could change. It was pressure. I'm thrilled I did it, and I'll never ever do it again.
The great thing is you don't have to do it.
Absolutely right.
It is a make or break moment essentially, and for you it was very much a make. I mean, you made Simon Cowell believe in magic.
It was amazing.
That says it all.
And I remember standing on that little square, and they all said really lovely things. Because Simon Cowell goes, says like, some people believe in ghosts. I now actually believe in magic. And my first thought was, if that doesn't get me a free haircut, nothing will.
People are quite quick, I think it's fair to say, to use the term overnight fame when they think of shows like Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
It's understandable. I mean, like if you're sitting at home watching TV and somebody like myself comes on and they see you do your thing, they've never seen you before. So as far as they're aware, that's the first time you've done it. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you've done. So they didn't know, like for me, that I've been doing it professionally for 12 years. I've been learning magic for like 25 or so beforehand. And then the process goes on, and then I got to answer that question. After the final, there was a bit of a controversy about what happened, and I was at home and all the journalists come to my house and they like knock on the door, and it was like that scene from Notting Hill where they knock on the door and I just open it. I'm in my dressing gown. I was like, "You right, lads?" And they were like, "Yeah, can I help you?" And they're like, "Oh, we're from such and such a newspaper." I won't say it was. And then they said, "How does it feel to be like an overnight success?" I was like, "Well, it feels incredible, to be honest. I'm just gutted I had to wait 12 years for you to come and disturb me in my dressing gown to ask me the question." It's very rare. Success isn't overnight for anyone. Very rarely is it. I mean, if you win the lottery, in terms of financially, yeah, you literally become successful overnight. But there's a reason why you're in that position at that time, and it's not because you've just rocked up. If you, like for me, if you go on and you do a show like that, even for 6 months or so beforehand, you're preparing for the show, and I've had a long time of learning before that, so there's lots of things that go into it. It's interesting. I'm glad I got to answer the question.
And what were the initial days after the first audition?
You don't get told when the show's going to air, you just wait, and then one day you're watching it and then it's just there and it comes on, and I was like, oh right, yeah, that's good. And I knew it had gone big because my phone and like the battery died. That was the first time I'd ever had that before, where like you get all notifications and it just goes grrr, and it just like that, you can just see notification after notification because suddenly you've got 5,000 people want to be your friend on Facebook, or you've got a Twitter thing, or you've got this or that, and you get like thousands of notifications. Then the next day I was out and I was just walking in the street and a guy stopped his car. He goes, "Oh, well done, mate," because of where I lived. Obviously they say where you're from. And I was like, "Oh, that's weird." And then I was in Sainsbury's, and this little boy was following me around like the aisles. And I get to the till and I walk through with my little, 3 whispers or whatever I bought, and he pulls my shirt and he said, "Oh, were you that magician on Britain's Got Talent last night?" I said, "I was." Yeah. He goes, "Can I have my photo with you?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah." "Have you got a camera or something?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, have you got a phone?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Well, did your mum have a phone?" He was like, "Yeah, wait here." So I wait there, and he goes and gets his mum's phone, and it's one of these old Nokias, right? And I was like, "There's no camera on it." I was like,
no.
"Not a problem, I've got a phone, I'll take a photo." So I take this photo of him, and I said, "Right, I'll send it to your mum. Has she got like an email address?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Does your dad have an email address?" He goes, "Wait here." So he goes and gets his mum. She comes back and is like, "Hi, how's it going? I've got this photo, I can email it to your husband, partner, whatever. No problem. What's his email address?" I was like, "Okay." So eventually I get it, and I've got no signal, right? So I was like, "Right, I'll send it when I get outside." And I go outside and I send it, and the email address was wrong, and he never got the photo. He never got the photo. So yeah, I'll just loiter around the Sainsbury's and Bracknell, and hopefully one day he'll come back and see me and finish the job. Yeah.
In terms of the judges, have you seen them again?
David Williams is my friend on Instagram, so he likes my photos, which is lovely. It's always nice to see. I bumped into Simon Cowell a few times, so after I did Britain's Got Talent, the next year they had like a 10-year anniversary sort of thing of like a performance, and I was asked to do that, and then I bumped into him in the corridor and we had a nice chat. He always seems genuinely happy to see you. I like to think that he remembers me. I'm sure he does, because I've heard he's got a really good memory for the acts that have gone on.
You see, I think you'd make the perfect magician for Eric, Simon's son.
There's no pressure there though. I mean, if there was one child who's probably seen the best of everything in the world, it's probably him. But if I ever get offered, then I'd do it in a heartbeat, because the show changed my life, and there's some other things that indirectly he's helped me out with, which I'm very grateful for. So if there's ever anything I can do to help any of them, it would always be a pleasure.
So after Britain's Got Talent, Jamie, you actually went on to headline at The Illusionists at Shaftesbury Theatre.
Yeah. The show, if you're not aware of it, called The Illusionists, it's the most successful tour of magic show in the world ever. And it was amazing to work with, 6 of the guys who I was aware of, they're like magical heroes. At the end we got told we'd broken the box office record at Shaftesbury Theatre, which is amazing. And to be part of it was awesome, and to have my face on the poster. I've got it at home. They had these huge 12-foot pictures of us like outside the front of the theatre. And when we were all packing up afterwards, we all nicked them. So I've got my home. I've got mine at home, but it's so big I can't put it on a wall, so it's like behind a sofa at the minute. To do that was amazing, and to do a show in the West End is even better, and to do it at Christmas time in a show you'd wanted to be a part of forever, it was like amazing. And I'll never top that, because I'll never have that leap again from where I was, to where I'd always wanted to go. And then I was there, and it was like bang, it's like it doesn't get any better, so you just hope you can keep doing it. And then the next step is to do like your own show, your own tour, which I was lucky enough to do, and around England, and we went to Scotland and Wales.
If the opportunity arose to perform on a Las Vegas show, is that something you would consider?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I mean, that's sort of like the mecca, like the entertainment capital of the world. So that's the dream, do you know what I mean? To get your own place, your own show in your own theatre, that'd be amazing. The Vegas would be amazing. If we do it in London, that'd be amazing too.
Jimmy, what can you tell us about the Magic Circle?
Yes, the Magic Circle is essentially a society or club of magicians, and there's 3 levels within. So you pass an exam and you become a member of the Magic Circle. And then if you want to, you can do another exam and you become an associate of the inner Magic Circle, which is more difficult to get, and that's great. And then there's one level above that, which is called member of the inner Magic Circle, and very proud to say I'm one of the 187, so that's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. Applications for Britain's Got Talent 2018 are actually out now. So what advice would you have for anyone who's considering applying?
I know from personal experience, if you go on a show like Britain's Got Talent, if you're a performer or a variety performer, there is nothing that will get you into the public consciousness quicker than going on that show. So definitely do it. However, you have to be ready to go on there. If you do go on, it doesn't work quite so well, you just use it as motivation to inspire you to keep going and keep trying. Because if you really want something, you can keep going. I did so many things before I did Britain's Got Talent for like 12 years. It didn't work out. That led me to that place that day. And I got lucky. But yeah, definitely do it. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery.
Could you possibly show us a trick?
It'd be a pleasure. I'd love to.
Thank you.
Just do it.
There are a couple of questions I get asked more often than any others when I finish doing a show. Question number 1 is usually, can we have a refund? Answer's always no, payment up front in advance. Question 2 is usually, can you teach me how to do a trick? And the answer, of course, is yes. You're only where you are because of where you've been, and I only got started because someone took the time to show me a trick, so I thought I'd like to share with you now a trick, but I'd show it to you and I'll explain to you how to do it. Very simple trick in principle. Just uses a piece of fabric. I use a handkerchief. Doesn't have to be a handkerchief, could be a piece of cloth, a piece of carpet, curtain, your mum's dress, anything just lying around the house. You proceed to stuff this as quickly as you can into the palm of one of your hands. While you're doing this, always show your thumbs. Sometimes people think that's how this works. It isn't. You squeeze it inside, you wave, you snap, you blow, you squeeze, and it will change into an egg, and the handkerchief will jump somehow, some way into the pocket. Why, thank you. Now for the explanation, and I must apologise in advance because you will be disappointed. Okay, this egg is very special. It's got a hole in it. Okay, and inside the hole in the egg there is another handkerchief. Now this is what we refer to in the trade as a magician's egg. This is not an egg that has been laid by a magician, alright? Trust me when I tell you, nothing on this earth has ever been laid by a magician. It's plastic or a wooden egg you get at a hobby shop, and there's a hole that's cut in the top of it, and then you fill it with resin to make it stronger. One magician's egg. You also need 2 handkerchiefs. They must be the same colour, alright? Otherwise you haven't got a trick. You then need 2 very simple techniques. One is called palming, where you hide something in the palm of your hand. So from one side you can see it's there, held between the thumb and baby finger. From the other side though, it looks fairly innocuous. Originally this was created to make something look like it disappears, so you simulate the movement of moving something from one hand to the other, when in actual fact you leave it there, you pretend, and it looks like it's gone when it's there all along. So palming. You also need what we call our presets. Now this is the equivalent of a band or a musician doing a sound check before a gig. Take one of your handkerchiefs and you preset it into one of your pockets, matters not which, just has to be opposite the pocket that the other handkerchief is about to go inside to. The egg, of course, is palmed in your hand, other handkerchief in the pocket. You walk on stage to your thunderous applause, egg in the hand, but of course the audience don't know this is there. You hide it, be careful of your thumb. You walk out, egg in the hand. You reach into one of your pockets, doesn't matter which, just remember which pocket you're taking the handkerchief out of, because later you need to get it from the other pocket. You then proceed to stuff this as quickly as you can into the hole in the egg. While you're doing this, to fill the time, tell a joke if you know one. If you don't know a joke, just sort of stand there in awkward silence or cough. Works for Theresa May. Gives you plenty of time to wave, snap, squeeze, blow, show the egg, reach into the other pocket, take out the handkerchief that was there all along. That's the trick. Problem with it though, as with all magic tricks, there is a compromise to be made. This one is what we call angle sensitive. There's a big hole in the back of this, right? So if someone was to watch from behind or the side, they'd see there's a hole in the egg, not a problem. If anyone ever calls you up on that, just make sure you let them know that they know, and smile, kill them with kindness, point to the hole in the egg, then all that's left is to very slowly, but dramatically nonetheless, just take the hole off. Then all that's left to do is to pick up a wine glass, take your egg, crack your egg, and say cheers to you, friends.